The Navy has found that 2 ship collisions that combined to kill 17 sailors at sea were preventable and caused by multiple failures by service members who were standing watch the nights of the incidents, the service said Wednesday. The USS Fitzgerald and the USS John S. McCain, both guided missile destroyers, suffered catastrophic collisions June 17 and August 21, respectively. The Fitzgerald accident killed 7 sailors off the southern coast of Japan, while the McCain collision killed 10 sailors near Singapore. The collision shocked the Navy, which prides itself on good seamanship. In the last few months, the service has removed numerous people from their jobs as a result, including the senior officer in charge of the Navy's 7th Fleet, to which both ships were assigned. Admiral John Richardson, the Chief of Naval Operations, said Wednesday in a statement upon releasing the investigation results that the service must do better. We are a Navy that learns from mistakes, and the Navy is firmly committed to doing everything possible to prevent an accident like this from happening again, Richardson said. We must never allow an accident like this to take the lives of such magnificent young sailors and inflict such painful grief on their families and the nation. The Fitzgerald collision was attributed to its watch teams disregarding established ways of contacting other ships and required safety precautions that were in place. The investigation found that at about 11 p.m. on June 16, the ship's top 2 officers, Commander Bryce Benson, the ship's captain, and Commander Sean Babbitt, the ship's executive officer, left the ship's bridge for the evening. By 1 a.m., the Fitzgerald was moving past Japan's Oshima Island, and approached 3 merchant ships from the starboard, or right, side of the ship. There was minimal distance between the Fitzgerald and the other vessels, and all 3 presented a collision hazard, the investigation found. The Navy determined that the Fitzgerald was in a crossing situation with each vessel, meaning it was the U.S. sailors' obligations to take maneuvering action to avoid them. But in the 30 minutes leading up to the collision, neither the Fitzgerald nor the much larger MVACX Crystal, a Philippine-flagged container ship, did so until just a minute prior to the disaster. The investigation faulted the officer of the deck, who was not named in the documents, for failing to maneuver as needed, sound the danger alarm on the ship, contact the Crystal or call his own captain, as required. With the USS Fitzgerald badly damaged, sailors had to decide whether to continue searching for their fellow shipmates or seal off the flooding areas. Thomas Gibbons Neff, Dan Lameth, Sarah Parnas / The Washington Post. Initially, the officer of the deck intended to take no action, mistaking Crystal to be another of the 2 vessels with a greater closest point of approach, the investigation found. Eventually, the officer of the deck realized that Fitzgerald was on a collision course with Crystal, but this recognition was too late. Benson, Babbitt and the senior enlisted sailor of the ship, Command Master Chief Bryce Baldwin, were cited for being absent from the bridge at the time of the crash, during an evolution where their experience, guidance and example would have greatly benefited the ship, the Navy found. They were removed from their jobs in August. In the McCain collision, the ship's captain, Commander Alfredo J. Sanchez, and executive officer, Commander Jesse L. Sanchez, were on the bridge, but confusion about how the ship's steering worked caused chaos. Both officers were removed from their positions in August as the service examined what happened. The investigation found that it was about 5:19 a.m. on August 21 when the ship's captain noticed that the ship's helmsman, who was steering the vessel, was having difficulty maintaining course while in a congested ship corridor. In response, the captain put a second sailor in charge of shifting speed control while keeping the steering with the helmsman. The decision prompted confusion, with the sailors thinking that steering also had been transferred to the second sailor even though it had not. The helmsman reported a loss of steering, prompting the commanding officer to order the ship's speed from 10 knots to 5 knots. But the second sailor reduced the speed only on one of the ship's rear propeller shafts, steering it toward the Alnick MC, a much larger oil tanker. Although John S. McCain was now on a course to collide with Alnick, the commanding officer and others on the ship's bridge lost situational awareness, the investigation recounted. No one on the bridge clearly understood the forces acting on the ship, nor did they understand the Alnick's course and speed relative to John S. McCain during the confusion. 3 minutes after the steering problems were reported, The McCain's crew regained control. But it was too late, and the ships collided at 5:24 a.m.